Meanwhile, in Tupac news,
The shooting of Tupac Shakur once again underscores the violence that has surrounded this man since he shot the superstar.
Four people pulled up, opened fire. Shakur and Knight.
Tupac Shakur was shot several times in the chest. Shakur was pronounced dead.
MAKAVELI in this Illuminati, all through your body. The blows like a 12-gauge shot. Feel me?
Kidada and Tupac soon grow close, much to her dad's dismay.
I had heard that he was circling the field on Kidada now. You know, he had a thing for Kidada.
I remember one night he was like, you can date whoever you want, but you will not bring Tupac to my house. That's one rapper you will not be dating.
One night, while Kidada and Tupac were at a restaurant, Quincy walked in the door.
And I went over the top of the booth and put my hands down on his shoulders like, Tupac!
Tupac said, I have a few things to talk to you about. And my dad was like, I have a few things to talk to you about, too.
We talked straight up, you know. I said, I understand where your head is, you know, but don't come at me like that.
Once Quincy and Tupac cleared the air, he was welcomed into the family.
We grew to love Quincy and have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
And Tupac and Kidada made plans to marry. But those plans were shattered on September the 7th, 1996.
Only Gab can do it like this. Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab. I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. Tupac versus the Jones family. Part 2. Did Quincy Jones really want Tupac for a son-in-law? Or did he want Tupac as an artist? And what role did Kidada fit in all of this confusion? Let's break it down. Now, the question has been posed several times, did Kidada really love Tupac? I don't know. I have no reason to say she didn't, and I have no proof that she did. But I do know there's some very sketchy behavior on her part, especially right after Tupac's death, in terms of the company she kept and, her availability to the media and the fact, she was in company with some of Tupac's enemies, one being P. Diddy and the other being the Notorious B.I.G. But let's look at history for a minute. Now, Tupac apologized to Quincy Jones, and whether Quincy Jones really accepted Tupac's apology and was ready to embrace Tupac with open arms, I don't know. But I will tell you this, I'm no body language expert, but if you look at Kidada on this clip here, whenever she talks about Tupac and her dad, she seems unhappy with the way her dad handled the situation. Whether, he forced her to pursue Tupac on a more serious note because she was known for dating rappers. She was known for, dating movie stars or entertainers. What made her, go after Tupac so hard, and what made Quincy Jones so accepting if under her own admission that he wasn't really feeling it. What I'm trying to say is, what made him change his mind? If you look at this clip here, the brief conversation she's having about Tupac and her dad, look how she did her dad voice.
Tupac said, I have a few things to talk to you about. And my dad was like, I have a few things to talk to you about, too.
You know what I mean? You can see like it's some bitterness still in the air when she talks about her dad, and Tupac's relationship. Now, the question is, if Quincy Jones didn't truly forgive Tupac, or he never really liked Tupac from the beginning, why would he want his daughter to marry Tupac? Well, let's take a look at this real quick. How many of y'all ever heard the term check-in? If you on YouTube a lot, and if you're watching this video right here, you probably are. You hear the rappers say or the gangbangers say, when you come to my town, you better what? You better check in. You better check in. You better make a phone call. You better get clearance, basically. Well, the same could be said about the entertainment industry. There is a window, or should I say a ceiling. And before you can get through that ceiling, they have gatekeepers. There are people you have to talk to. Then you have to sit down and meet with the necessary people to go any further. Like, you reach this point to go to this next level, you gotta come to us. Now, I can guarantee you somebody like P. Diddy or somebody like Jay-Z, yes, they are very successful, but I guarantee you their money is getting cut like a birthday cake. This guy get a little bit of that. This guy get a little bit of this. You know, just to be in this exclusive position that you're in. Now, there was one guy who was reaching that ceiling and didn't give a damn who he had to check in with. He was doing it his way. And that guy's this guy right here, Suge Knight. Now, if you're a hustler on the block, if you make enough money or enough noise in the streets, the big dogs gonna want to meet with you because you stepping on some toes, or the big dogs want some of the money too. So they're gonna want to have a meeting with you. And I can guarantee you that Quincy Jones was watching the noise Suge Knight was making with Death Row Records.
Ain't no other record company out there that sold as many records as we did. We outsold Bad Boy, LaFace, every black record label out there, we outsold them in 1 year.
Death Row was changing the game and they was doing it their way. There was not one successful black entertainer from the 70s to the early 90s that didn't have some ties with Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones was right there with Richard Pryor, right there with everybody, Sidney Poitier, Stevie Wonder. Somehow, Marvin Gaye, they had a connection with Quincy Jones. Now, Quincy Jones is well connected, man. I'm going to say it, he's a gangster. And everybody that's a gangster ain't got gangster written on their shirt. It's different levels of being a gangster. Do you know Frank Sinatra, right?
With somebody like Sinatra, it was all love.
Dad really looked upon Quincy as a son.
Famous for I Did It My Way. Mob ties through the roof. Considered Quincy Jones a son. It don't get no more official than that. All right, so Quincy Jones is a very, very important guy. A heavy guy. Now he's watching. And check this out. Quincy Jones could have been worked with Tupac if he wanted to. Pac had been out since what, 92, something like that? He could have been got with Pac. But what made Tupac so irresistible in 1996? It was the success of not only him, but of Death Row Records as well. I'm telling you, that's what did it. If you ever watched SpongeBob, you know where I'm going at with this. What did Plankton want for Mr. Krabs? He want the formula to the Krabby Patties because that's what's making the money. And in 1996, what was Death Row Records' bread and butter? That's right, MAKAVELI the Don. And the best way to neutralize or defeat your competition is to take their number one strength away from them. Quincy Jones did not have LL Cool J signed to his label, or Will Smith, but yet he had a joint venture through Def Jam where he could work with LL Cool J along with Russell Simmons. He could have did the same thing for Tupac in 96, but he did not want to work with Suge Knight because Suge Knight was viewed as undesirable. That's what it was. He didn't want to be caught standing next to Suge Knight. I wonder why. Was he privileged to some information? I don't mean in terms of the hit. I mean in terms of the fact that he knew Suge Knight was on somebody's list. And if you think about it, When Suge fell from grace, he was never, ever able to climb back up the ladder. This man sold tons of records, was worth over $300 million. And wouldn't nobody give him a job? Dude, if you sold 1 million cookies for yourself and you lost your company, you don't think Oreos, Nabisco, or somebody, Keebler, would give you a job? In a heartbeat. So why would nobody help Suge get back in the position he was in? I'm telling you, because Suge didn't check in. Suge didn't check in. Quincy Jones kept sweetening the pot. He had Kadada talking pillow talk to Tupac, talking business to Tupac. You seen that in the movie All Eyes on Me. My dad said he got some lawyers that's gonna look over your contracts. I read in Source magazine myself that Quincy Jones was gonna give Tupac some money to start his own label. You know, Quincy Jones was talking about producing rap music for Tupac. Quincy Jones was gonna actually make the beats. He had thought this thing through. He thought it through. He wanted the success that Suge Knight had, but without dealing with Suge Knight. He probably felt like Suge Knight didn't deserve to have Pac. But it was strictly business though, because, you know, when Tupac died, Kadada was upset with the way her dad handled the situation. He wasn't there physically, he didn't come out to Vegas, and he wasn't there, you know, for morale purposes for her.
I told him what was going on. He didn't think he was gonna die. He was just like, can't come, you know. My love is with you.
So that just shows me that, you know, he wasn't head over heels about her being with Tupac or having Tupac for a son-in-law. He was probably more disappointed that he didn't get a chance to, you know, basically make money with Pac or make money off Tupac. This was strictly business, man. You know, I don't know if she got caught up in a game her dad was playing, or did she really start feeling feelings for Tupac, or maybe she liked Pac on her own and her dad saw the value in her being married to Tupac, and that's why he gave it his blessings. Or maybe he knew he wasn't going to allow her to marry Tupac all along. Who knows? Who knows? But I can tell you, man, that, you know, he was the one planting the seed in Tupac's head that Suge Knight was trying to rob him. And, you know, hey, Pac, you ought to look at this. You ought to look at that. Quincy Jones was trying to draw a wedge in between Tupac and Suge Knight, straight up. And if his daughter got hurt in the process, so be it. I mean, especially if you look at the history of Kadada dating rappers and movie stars and things of that nature way before she met Tupac, it just make her look a little disingenuous, you know what I mean? Especially, she even was dating people her father was having business with, you know what I mean? And it's almost like, did somebody tell her like to take this serious? Like, yeah, I mean, I need you to help pull this off. Did they have this conversation before? Like, is this one of the ways Quincy Jones was courting some of these entertainers? Who knows, man? Or maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Kadada did love Pac. And maybe Quincy Jones, maybe the idea of having Tupac for a son-in-law grew on him. You know what I mean? And maybe he saw the potential, you know, something great coming out of, you know, the merger with him and Tupac and his daughter. You know? I know one thing for sure. I know Suge couldn't have been happy that Quincy Jones was sniffing around Tupac. And, you know, the fact that Tupac was getting close with the Jones family. I believe that in my heart. Because Suge knew what Quincy was up to. And the one thing that I do believe for a fact is that Tupac really, I think, liked the idea of marrying Kadada and having Quincy Jones for a dad. Because Pac told you his whole life he was looking for a father figure. And, you know, man, Quincy Jones, man, damn near billionaire. I mean, so cha-ching. You know what I mean? And, you know, he was talking about laying out everything for Tupac. You know, your own television shows, your own movies, your own label. You know, Quincy Jones was huge in television and music. So, you know, it's an old saying, it's a match made in heaven. If the offer from Quincy Jones was genuine and authentic, right? Once again, I never believed that the rumor what was said about Quincy Jones and Tupac, because Quincy Jones was a world-renowned ladies' man.
A debonair ladies' man, he's romanced some of the world's most beautiful women.
He's very special, very caring, and it's so easy to love him.
I mean, even Will Smith was bragging about
Women dig the cue.
Quincy Jones couldn't stay married. He had so many women. You know what I mean? So, just never bought into that. To me, it sounded like somebody was, you know, envious of the relationship, you know, that could have come from Tupac joining forces with Quincy Jones. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I need you guys to please share and like this video. Don't forget to sub to the channel, MAKAVELI Media. I'm your homie, Gab. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.
Now we've been kicking it for quite some time. Remain beside me through my trials in this life of crime.